November 20th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is presented by Jet Home Loans. And now, a guy who's still a little queasy about hearing the phrase, I put mayonnaise in my coffee, J.P. Shadrick.
And welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans. Busy 2 hours ahead from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center after a Jaguars win over the Tennessee Titans 34-14. Lawrence in the offense playing well. The defense certainly handled their business against Derrick Henry. And Will Levis, the special teams groups delivered as well. We will keep it real. And Fanatics fan questions coming up in the second hour as always. A dominant performance from the Jaguars. Well, the quarterback was getting a little criticism after last week's performance against San Francisco. After the game, though, Lawrence isn't worried about the outside noise.
I mean, I'm not thinking about any of that stuff. I could care less what those guys say, to be honest. That's really my only response to that. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, if those guys think I'm the best thing in the world, it doesn't matter either. So that doesn't really matter. Love Arden, a former teammate. Hurts that he said that, but no, I really don't. I don't care. You know, it's about how you perform on Sunday, and you know, it's not about what other people say, but you want to change the narrative and play better. So
that's the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, J.P. Shadrick, Tony Boselli in Jacksonville, the Hall of Famer, and Pete Prisco is down in South Florida. As always, it's Victory Monday, and Pete, they responded. They certainly did after last week.
Well, the quarterback responded, which was the most important thing. And you know what? What guys were saying about him, including myself, that was not inaccurate. And he knows it. And they know it.
Well,
and that's why they went in the last.
When you say what you were saying and others were about him was not inaccurate, I'm not actually not even arguing with you yet about that.
You're trying.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. I'd love to know what you, because you say a lot, and I say a lot.
He wasn't getting off his first read quick enough. He was taking the easy throws and passing on the throws down the field. And again, we talked about it all season. I said it long before anybody else said it, that they needed to get the ball more vertically down the field. And he wasn't doing that. And for whatever reason, the play calls weren't being called vertically enough down the field. And so I think it's a combination of everything, Tony. And he wasn't the same guy. For a couple weeks, he hasn't been the same guy. Now, They let it out last week that some of their play calling has been influenced because his knee brace is on and he hasn't been the same guy. And so, yeah, that's taken into consideration. But I thought on Sunday it was better. Across the board, it was better. The throws were going down the field. They didn't run 62 bubble screens. I think they only ran 2. And it was just better, and he looked much more comfortable. Why are you shaking your head?
Oh, it took you about 30 seconds to get the bubble screen reference in there. That's all. It's fine.
Well, am I not wrong? Am I wrong?
They were definitely more vertical. It was interesting as I think about it. You know, Zay Jones was back this week. Mm-hmm. Last time Zay played was when? Buffalo.
Buffalo in London.
They were more vertical that game too. It felt like too.
He didn't finish the game, but yes. Seemed like it. I don't know.
I mean, they've said a lot. I mean, you combine that with the injury that Trevor had, and Doug came out last week that it hampered, or at least it influenced how they called the game. We've heard from everyone how critical Zay is in the overall, you know, what they want to do offensively. Maybe the combination of both getting Zay back and Trevor feeling better, maybe that was it. I mean, I guess my point is
But they also got a little creative with their pass routes on Sunday. A little, you know, like.
But maybe they. But Pete, maybe they do that because of having Ridley and more comfortable doing certain things with. Not Ridley, with Zay Jones in the game.
Yeah, but Zay wasn't exactly the vertical threat. He was running a lot of crossers and stuff. And they got Ridley on the vertical stuff out of the slot, which was I liked. I thought that was good. So yeah, it was better. It was better. The plan, it looked better. It looked crisper. It looked more. It looked smoother. It looked more like we expected the offense to look. Now there's still some hiccups in it, and we'll go through the hiccups. You know me; I'll pick out some hiccups every time I watch the tape. But
shocking.
I like what I saw. I thought Trevor was looking more like Trevor on Sunday.
I mean, listen, I thought he played much better. And I like what he said. It was similar to what I said during the pregame, JP, when we were talking. The only way you can change the narrative is on the field. Talking to it does not change one thing. Like Trevor going back and forth with Kyle Shanahan, Nick Bosa, Arden Key, whoever else, Richard Sherman, is pointless. With Pete, with me, with you, it's pointless. The only way you change the narrative is on the field, and that's what he did, and that's what this offense did. And I thought the offensive line was great too. So I think it's a combination of a bunch of things, Pete. No doubt you and I were in agreement that Trevor played poorly against San Francisco. And it would have been hard to defend or to argue against what Kyle Shanahan and Nick Bosa said after just watching that tape. Very difficult. And I was happy to see that Trevor came out, responded. The offense responded. I thought the offensive line was better. I mean, I think Trevor, 0 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. I actually ran out of bounds.
Only 2 quarterback hits.
Yeah, he ran out of bounds, which counted as a sack, which drove me crazy. I'm like, throw the dang ball. You're outside the pocket. That's just an offensive line.
We're going to credit that to Tony Boselli for giving up the sack.
Yes, that's how that works. There's a true story about that. We ran a naked bootleg. Mark Brunell ran a naked bootleg. We're playing the Seattle Seahawks, 1996. You think I remember every dang play. Sunday night, and Michael McCrary is with Seattle the year before we went to Baltimore. It's a naked. The play, there's nothing I can do. Michael McCrary is running him down, and Mark runs out of bounds. A half yard before the line of scrimmage, and Michael McCrary was the closest guy, credited with a sack. He had 3 sacks that day. I had to hear about it from Logman all about the next day. He beat me for 1 sack, had a good rush. He had that sack, and then he had a sack, Pete, where I had him stoned the line of scrimmage, and Mark Brunell decides to run into the sack, and it was 0 gain. But guess what? 0 gain is what? A sack. Mm-hmm. I was not happy the next day.
I would say not.
Not happy.
Did you let Brunell have it?
Oh, kidding me?
In the car ride? I know you guys used to drive in. You probably let him have it.
Absolutely, I let him have it. He has a job. I have a job. My job's to protect him. His job's not to make me look stupid.
That's his job. The new priority.
New priority. Funny. But overall, I thought, listen, that's what they needed to do. They needed to go out and dominate a team that they're clearly better than.
Sure.
And they did.
We'll get to the offense a little deeper coming up in a little bit. But, hey, the defense played a big game as well. Smothered Derrick Henry. They bothered Will Levis all day long, Pete, and they kind of flexed their muscles again.
That might be one of the worst offensive lines in the history of the National Football League that they played against. And that's not an overstatement. That line is awful. The center's about my size. I think when you look at the tackles, they're backups at best. The guards aren't very good. Skoronski's going to be good, but come on, that line is a disaster. That line is bad.
In the history
Tony,
of the
you're
league.
a line expert. Come on, you watch that line. You watch it on tape. You watch them in the game. That's a bad line.
They weren't very good. I don't know if they're the worst ever, but they're not very good.
They're in the conversation.
Yeah, I don't even know how to start that conversation where you pull teams, groups from, but they're not.
Are they the worst in the league right now? Well, the Jets might have something to say about that. But
yeah, I think you got to be careful. You got to go look at it, Pete. I mean, it's not like the Commanders are great.
But they couldn't even get the snap right on the shotgun.
Well, that was embarrassing. I mean, and we were fortunate. I mean, that was a good break because that was a drive. They had the big reverse. They were in inside the 40, I think, if I'm not mistaken, our 40, and then just a bad snap. We fell.
And then he had a couple other bad ones.
Yeah, he did. They were
Yeah.
off target and messed up the play. Yeah, they're not very good. I mean, we'll go back to the Jags, but real quick on the Titans because they are a division rival. Is Mike Vrabel in danger?
Well, everybody thinks he's going to go somewhere else and he's going to be a wanted commodity. I'm with you. I think, look, that was he doesn't have a lot of talent on a team, so it's hard to evaluate. It's just like it's hard to evaluate. How do you evaluate that quarterback when every time he puts his foot in the ground, he's got 8 guys around him?
Very difficult.
And they don't run. There's no speed on that team at all.
And I love Derrick Henry, one of the greatest backs in this era. But Pete, watching the tape, Jeff and I talked about it on the broadcast, he just does not look the same.
No. It's almost like all those carries that he's had on his body have finally got the best of him.
Can't get outside anymore.
He can't get outside, and he he goes down easier than he ever did. I mean, now
it's not a good. It's a bad offense.
Yeah,
and I think that is why the Jags. Don't get me wrong. I think the Jacksonville defense, if they're watching the tape, but there were a lot of guys that did a lot of good things on.
Oh gosh, they played great.
Yeah, a lot of really good things. I thought the corner stepped in and played really well. I thought he did a nice job.
Monteric Brown, 6 tackles.
Yeah, he did a nice job. I thought Devin Lloyd might have had his best game again. We said that a month ago. He was active all over the place. He's getting better. Trayvon Walker actually played okay, better than okay. I thought, when the way they used Rayshon Jenkins in the line of scrimmage against a team like that, he was really good. So there were a lot of things to like about that defense on Sunday.
It's funny. I came out of that game and after watching it this morning and watching the tape, and I knew we had the show today, and we'll talk about it. I actually don't want to talk too much about it.
The game,
the Titans game.
Really?
No.
Why not?
Because we were better than them. We dominated them. They're not a good team. Like, we did what we were supposed to do. When you're a good team, you go beat teams like that. Rookie quarterbacks beat up offensive lines, lack of speed, not great in the back half. They had their one good unit is that front four. That's a good.
They didn't block Simmons all day, I don't think. That's
a good front four. And Jeffrey Simmons is one of the best 3 techniques in the league. And I thought overall they did a good job up front. But that's what you're supposed to do. Like, I am so excited about this game with Houston. I remember we were calling the game yesterday, Pete, and it was a blowout, so we're starting to look at scoreboards and everything. And I can't remember if it was Frank or Jeff said, well, hopefully the Cardinals can beat the Texans. And I probably shouldn't have said this out loud, but I did. I said, I hope the Texans win. They're like, what?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I want this to be a big game. Now, from the standing standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Tony.
No, but you know what I mean. I get from a standings, yes, obviously I want them to lose. I'd love a 2-game. But going into this week, like, this is, first of all, in my opinion, this is what the AFC South needs. You need good teams that people are interested in with good quarterbacks in good matchups. And for and by the way, if you're going to be a Super Bowl contending team, these are the games you have to go win. You got to go beat good teams in their stadium. The Texans are on like a 5-game winning streak. This is beautiful. I love it.
3, by the way.
Whatever it is.
They lost to Carolina.
Oh, that's right. Carolina, I forgot.
It's 3.
But they're playing good football.
Well,
and I look for I can't wait for this game.
On their side. Yeah, history's on their side too in that series.
Love it.
I mean,
I love it. It was like last year, Pete.
Tony, but you really, seriously, when you think about it, if they had lost that game Sunday, then you would have been that much better positioned in the division.
Oh, big picture, yes, obviously.
But having said that, if Jacksonville wins this game, they win the division. If the Texans win this game, they win the division. I think the schedule is so favorable for the Texans. Now, Jacksonville's schedule, JP, we were talking about this before the show. It's gotten a little more favorable than what it looked like about a month ago.
Yeah,
no Joe Burrow next Monday. No Deshaun Watson when you play Cleveland. No Mark Andrews when you play the Ravens. Those all are impactful, giant injuries, particularly the Burrow one.
Yeah, and Pete, from a standing standpoint, absolutely. Would I rather have a 2-game lead right now than a 1-game lead? Yes. That's come on. My point was more just the overall, you want some attention,
right?
You want to be respected.
I get what you're saying.
You go beat those teams. And by the way, it's not like I've never bought into. I know JP, you're a big guy about this. Like in college football, I root for the SEC. I'm an SEC.
When did I say that?
When did
I?
All you SEC homers talk up the FCS.
Yeah, like you could be from a Florida fan and hate Georgia, but if they're playing in the championship game against SC, you're rooting for Georgia.
Yeah, SEC, blah, 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 blah. But if I'm being honest, AFC South, I get tired. It's like the competitive side of me. It's like, don't talk bad.
Pac-12's never in the Final Four anyway.
That's right. So that's why
you guys wouldn't know the difference.
They beat each other up in that conference this year, JP. It's loaded.
We don't even have a conference anymore. Who cares about the Pac-12?
Pac-2.
Right.
But my point is, yes, big picture, I would have loved for Houston to win or lose. But this game this week, I can't wait. We're going to go in there, and let me start the show off on the right note.
Oh, dear.
I locked it last week.
Okay.
I'm coming over the top, and I'm locking it again. We are going to dominate and beat the Texans.
You know what? I hate to say this early in the show, but I think you're getting a double lock this week.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I can't. I found myself. I love it, Pete, because I found myself this morning watching it, and I love watching tape, evaluating who played well, and obviously there's a bunch of stuff you can clean up, and you got to do better, and so on and so forth. And Trevor wasn't perfect, which to me that's great, because he's like, that was Trevor being good.
Right. He still has an next level he can go. Right?
Like Trevor's superstar level. That's why I still say he's one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL. Now, has he played like that this year? No. But that's okay. Got 8 games.
Well, he hasn't played. He hasn't played better than the guy he's playing against this week.
Not the last few weeks, no.
So he can go in there. You talk about a game that can shut a lot of people up. Go in there and outplay them.
So, but as we go to break, I know we got to talk about this game, but I want to talk about next week's game because it's bigger. It's the biggest game of the season. Everyone talked about the Chiefs, big game. Week 2, 49ers, big game. NFC, okay, you got blown out, whatever. This one, this is a big game. This is the one as a player you look forward to. Going to a division rival who embarrassed you last time on the road with first place on the line. I love it.
We'll get into it when we come back. Jags fans want customized Jags furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. Zipchair furniture for fans. We've already got locks. We got a first place game coming up this week. And we're just getting started. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
When it comes to water, choose our team, the winning team. Choose CGC Water Treatment. CGC Water Treatment works, and it works for DG too, former Jags QB, David Garrard.
If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Discover the kinetical difference.
Call CGC Water Treatment at 844-CGC-JAGS or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Kinetico dealers.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Brooks Rehabilitation has more than 50 years of experience serving the North Florida community with cutting-edge rehabilitation care, ranging from joint replacements, sports injuries, and balance issues to traumatic brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, and strokes. Their highly trained clinical teams span across their system of care to include inpatient, outpatient, skilled nursing, assisted living and memory care, home health, and adaptive community programs. Learn more at brooksrehab.org. Brooks is proud to be the rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At Ameris Bank, we're with you. We asked our team what that means to them.
We're with you means we have a partnership.
It's a relationship. We're here for the long haul.
We have a solution for each and every person that chooses to bank with Ameris.
When you're starting your first checking account, starting your own business, buying a home.
Personally, commercially, corporately, whatever needs you have.
We take great care of our customers.
We're with you.
We're with you.
We're with you.
Learn what it means for you at amerisbank.com/withyou. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty. Offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
We needed this win. We needed a win like this, but that's what when like I said last week, man. When everybody do their job, man, and just want to go out there and perform, we can beat any team in the National League, and that's the confidence that we have within ourselves, first and foremost. So, next week is an even bigger game than this week. So that's a great team, and I know in the past that Texans and Jaguars don't really mix. But we're going to have to go down there and handle business, man. That's a great team over there, and we're excited to play them.
Texans and Jaguars don't really mix. That's Josh Allen, Jaguars outside linebacker after the game yesterday. A Jags win over the Titans. And it's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans. J.P. Shadrick with Hall of Famer Tony Boselli in Jacksonville. Pete Prisco down in South Florida, CBS Sports senior writer. And, Josh Allen and the defense got it done yesterday. But boy, last time out against the Houston Texans, since we are forward-thinking in this edition.
I mean, if you guys disagree,
I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
it makes sense.
We got to go back and talk about the individual play and the groups and units that played on Sunday. We can do that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, we can do that. Whatever.
If you watch the tape, you want to talk about what you saw. I want to talk about what I saw.
Yeah, what I saw was domination
on defense,
and frankly,
everywhere, all three phases, really.
The offensive line had some leakage.
Well, in what sense? I mean, Pete, he got touched twice in the run game. They had a couple. A couple times.
I think Walker Little was great.
You didn't?
No.
I disagree,
Why?
Pete.
Why, Pete?
If you watch Walker Little
side a couple times in the run game.
But if you watch Walker Little for the vast majority of the run plays, he gets more movement and is more physical than anyone else up front.
I'm curious to see how he graded out. By the way, let's look.
Run the ball all that much, did they? They ran
a
bunch, but not for great yardage.
No.
You know what? Yeah. I will say that Harrison had some issues at times.
He had a couple bad angles in the run game and gave up the third and short down there. He just whiffed.
Yep.
And on the goal line run on 4th and 1, Simmons beat both him and Cam Robinson when they flopped the tackle over.
Yeah, because it was, again, terrible angles. You have to understand where your help's coming from. If you're blocking down and you have a double team with a guard, you don't have to sell out.
Right. That should be pretty an easy block, right?
Well, I mean, the move that Jeffrey Simmons made was a good move, but you have to be where do you have no help? If he comes over the top, I have no help. So I got to have good footwork. I'm not going to try to take over the entire guy because I know I got help inside if he slants. And I'm going to take, probably half a man, or I'm going to try to get my, head on his inside of his face mask, knowing that if he slants, that I got help.
It was a great run, too, by the way. Ran through that and then ran through the linebacker.
No, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I'm not saying it was perfect, Pete, up front.
Okay, here's how now we know PFF will take it for whatever it is. The lowest graded offensive player on their team was Walker Little.
Yeah, I would disagree with that.
They had him as a run block grade of 32.3. Which is awful, and a decent pass block grade, which you said he was much better in pass protection, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then they had Fortner down near the bottom, 19th rated player on the offense. Then they had Harrison and Cam kind of right next to each other, and then the top rated offensive lineman was Sheriff, by far and away.
Yeah. I mean, I just think, I don't want to get into PFF because I don't know how what they're looking at.
We've gone through this for years.
Yeah,
I thought he was okay. I'm
just telling you right now, Pete. If you go watch, the guy has played 2 games at guard. I'm not saying he was perfect by any means. But what I like about Walker, he's a big body, and when he gets on people, he can move people. We have to be more physical.
What did you think about Cleveland when he was in there?
He had 19 total snaps in the game, Cleveland.
If I'm being honest, I watched them the last probably 12 plays of the game when it was over,
Yeah,
they put the backups in.
The backups.
I turned it off. If I'm being honest, I mean, I was
backup plays are. I mean, it's like yeah. I mean, I think when he went in the second series, I think it was.
No, it was third series.
Third. Why did he go in? Was that just to rotate him in?
Yeah, I was playing. They want to get him reps.
One thing he does he moves pretty well.
Yeah, he's a very good athlete.
Yeah.
Does that hurt Walker when he's coming out though?
No, not if it's pre-planned. Like you mentally get ready.
Good.
Well, I'm not saying he likes it, but I'm saying going in the third series that you're sitting on the sideline.
I don't know. I think offensive line was better, no question. And when Tony, some of those plays they max protected, he had all day. They added the tight ends and kept him in. He had two man routes.
When they just kept 5 in there, that he had all day. He got hit twice.
Yep. And when the other times came close, he ran.
He literally got hit twice. And in the times that he ran, one time he didn't need to run.
Yeah.
No, he didn't need to run.
A second time,
one was called run.
By the way, another one he didn't need to run because of pressure, but it was all stick routes and they're all covered, and he went and got what he could, which was the right decision by him.
Which one? Not the touchdown.
No, it was just
there was pressure.
It was like a third or fourth
off his edge on the touchdown, but he could have stepped up away from it.
But if you look at, there's nobody open.
Yeah.
So yes, he could have stepped up and hung in there, but he's an athlete. You got to let him go play. So I'm not saying the offensive line was dominant, but I thought they were more physical. I think, Walker Little, everyone's killing Walker Little. I'm like, guys,
I'm not killing him. I'm not killing him.
I'm not saying you. I said, like, if you listen to the narrative, like this morning on Dan and Jeff's show, should they bench Walker Little and put Ezra in there? Or even better was, should they bench the rookie and put Walker Little to right tackle and put Ezra Cleveland in there? And I'm just not a believer because I think you actually upset the apple cart, and like it almost gives a sense of like, I don't want to go as far as saying panicking, but it's like, guys, we're 7-3. I'm not saying status quo is okay. I do think you're always trying to get better, but I'll just say my default always is that the coaching staff, and especially when it's a guy like Doug Pederson, who I respect immensely, and Phil Rauscher, who is a heck of an offensive line coach, they see all these guys every day. And as much as we all want them to win, I promise you, they want to win more than we do because their paychecks depend on it. Their livelihoods depend on it. And so my whole point in saying that is, yes, do I think Walker Little is playing high-level left guard right now? No. Did I see improvement from last week to this week? Absolutely. Is he a big physical man who, when he gets on guys, can move guys? Yes. Is he sturdier against the big, powerful defensive tackles and pass? Yes. Does he still get out of sorts at times? Absolutely. But
he got beat. Was it by Tart on a play early in the game? I think it was. He threw him to the side.
Well, yeah.
I mean, Tart's a good player too. Fortner's not as. Remember we talked before the season about him becoming more physical.
He's too high. He plays too high.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't changed much.
No, that's my concern. He plays too high, which I don't. He's got to play lower because he gets bounced around.
How do you do that in the middle of the season?
Well, I think it's hard in the middle of the season, especially the limitations of what you can do in practice. I mean, I don't know how many padded practices they have left.
And by playing low, describe a little bit what that actually looks like, feels like for alignment. Like, what does that mean?
Bending your knees, not your waist, and getting your pad level down and getting up underneath people so you don't get bounced around, and so you can finish
plays. You never want to be called a waist bender.
But it's hard to finish. It's hard to stay on blocks if you're high because you get tossed around, you bounced around, and too often he is not finishing the play with his man.
Correct.
And that's
a concern. I mean, going forward, that is a concern. Is his ability to move people in the run game. He's good. You know what he's pretty good at, Tony? He's good at the angles. He's probably one of the guys that can actually play the angles and when he's on the move. But when he gets on a guy, you're right. He's too high, and they throw him off of him easily. I think he was thrown off a couple blocks by by Tart too, or Simmons a couple times. They threw him. I mean, they're good players.
Now,
Don't
in
get me wrong,
fairness, I watched tape. Tart does that to a lot of guys. He's a big man.
Yeah, he's good.
Right. Exactly.
And that's a good group. Now, is it the 49ers as far as pass rushers? No. But is that a good front four? Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. And Landry played pretty well yesterday.
Good rush.
Right. Hey, let's come back in a moment. We'll hear from Calvin Ridley. He had a big day, obviously, at the office yesterday. A little more defensive talk ahead as well. Sign up your furry friend for the Jaguars' official four-legged fan club for pets. Presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Visit jaguars.com/promotion/four-legged fan club and sign up today. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Facing cancer takes a lot of determination, strength, and support. And you'll get it all at Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center. Determination from world-renowned doctors, giving you specialized treatment with cutting-edge technology and research. Strength and support from a dedicated team, caring for you completely, during and after treatment. Don't face cancer with anything less than the team at Baptist MD Anderson. Appointments available at baptistmdanderson.com.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a ZipChair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Football and Miller Lite. Duval's greatest pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going well past postgame. Sunday night overtimes. Followed by Monday morning pride. Knocking on bar tops for luck. Kicking back on any given Sunday. You never forget the way some things taste. Jags football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Honestly, the first one, we practiced it. I mean, it was like, I can show you the practice clip. It was the same exact route, catch, look. It was perfect. That's how you play football. And then the next one, actually, I thought Kurt was going to get it, but they left me. Usually they'll take me, but they left me and made a great throw, great catch, touchdown.
It's Calvin Ridley, Jaguars wide receiver, 2-touchdown day for him, his third 100-yard game of the season, 14th in his career, and welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans. 9 targets, 7 catches, 103, 2 scores, and his first touchdown since week 4 at Wembley Stadium, London, against his former team, the Atlanta Falcons. J.P. Shadrick, Tony Boselli in Jacksonville, Pete Prisco down in South Florida, and let's hope that sparks something certainly for him. And It's great. It was great to those throws, the touchdown throws, Pete. I mean, right on the money both times.
They're really good throw. It was the first one was a really great catch, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say the first one was a better catch than throw.
Yeah. The next one.
Because it was a little overthrown, Pete, and a lot. I'll tell you this. Christian Kirk is not catching that ball. And not because doesn't have great hands, not a great receiver. He doesn't have the height or length that Calvin does, and Calvin caught that with about 2 fingers.
And then the next one, he was wide open, and Trevor had to double clutch it because he had a little pressure or something, I thought. Isn't that what happened on that one? Yeah.
Yeah, he has a little bit. I was watching live, Pete. The throw to Ingram that was underthrown when Ingram had just beaten the tar out of Al-Shair on the wheel route.
Yeah. He got hit, didn't he, on that one?
I don't think he got hit on that one. I think he got hit on just watching right there. That's the really good job. He steps up, avoids the pressure, and throws a strike. The next one he got hit when it was underthrown to Zay Jones, who had beaten his man as well. But we got PI there. And both of those, I thought he flat missed Ingram. I thought it was just a bad throw. Because if he leads Ingram might outrun the safety to the pylon.
But didn't the ball hit Ingram's hands, though?
I think I watched it live and then and watched the replay live. Then I watched it this morning. It looks like to me Al-Shair gets his hand up in there because if you watch it, his hand goes in between Evans' hands right as the ball's getting there.
He's late with it because he beats him right
Oh,
away.
he beats him. That was I thought Trevor missed that. And initially I was critical live that he missed Zay as well. Watching the tape, I was wrong. Because you watch the tape, Trevor's getting hit as he's trying to deliver at the lower body, so it impacts how much he can get onto it. That's why that one was underthrown. So I thought, and then even on the big completion, I'm nitpicking Trevor. He had a nice. There was a double route. Kirk kind of runs it over.
Yeah.
There's a double move by Calvin, and he is just smoked the safety. And Trevor, for whatever reason, throws it to Kirk, 26-yard gain, big play. If he throws it to Ridley, it's a house call. Now
You're talking about the one Ridley, that one Kirk caught on the sideline.
Yes,
he almost waited to throw it.
I thought he was late to Kirk.
Yes.
And I don't know why he didn't throw it to Ridley, because Ridley it's a hell of a route. I'll say this: I thought that was the best route running by Ridley.
Yeah, and
maybe I'm just missing it, but he was on fire yesterday with his routes.
And they moved him around a little bit more.
But I'm not even talking about formation. I'm just talking about watching the crispness of his routes.
He looked energized.
Woo! He was.
Remember last week he said we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, he knew something. Here, the other one I thought was really, from a Trevor standpoint, that I like was the one where he hit Ridley on the sideline. Because he held the safety in the middle with his eyes. Do you remember that one on the right side? I think it was.
Trying to think.
On this.
Oh yeah. On the deep. Yeah. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, it was a great.
That was good because he came back. He kind of eyeballed the safety, kind of held him in the middle, and then hit the shot on this. That was good. Now. I want to get to some things I didn't like, JP.
Oh, yes. That always happens.
The first and goal zone read, give me a break.
I don't know why he didn't hand it off.
Yeah, that was.
He might have scored, right?
Yeah, because the end didn't crash. Arden Key didn't crash. I'm like it was almost like it was a. Are you okay, Pete?
Was that a sneeze or a cough? What was that?
You have a cough button, or move your mic. It'd be nice.
I did that for you.
Thank you.
Annoying me.
Thank you very much. It was almost like it was preordained that he was keeping it
instead of reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because the read, I was like, the second one that he scores on, that end does crash enough, I see why he pulled it and he got to the pylon and scored.
Either way, I didn't like that call on the goal line, the first one, and I didn't like the 4th and 4. He got away with it, but I didn't like it.
What didn't you like?
It's 13-0.
I loved it. I said go for it.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I'm a better coach than you.
You grew up in Madden football. What yard line
No,
was that?
I was not a big Madden player. It was on the 40.
Yeah, I don't know if I would.
It was on their 40. Right around there.
Why not make it 16?
It's on the 40 because you're about to make it 23-0.
Yeah,
or 20-0.
And if he doesn't have the scramble play and make a off schedule play, you got nothing.
Yeah, but Pete, this is what you drive me.
What yard line were they on?
They were on the 40.
It would have been a 58-yard field goal.
Kick the 58, 57-yard field goal. That's why you brought McManus in there. Make it 16-0.
Or just go get the first down like you did because you know their offense can't score against you.
Right.
Or you could have pinned them in, and because they can't score against you, and you're going to get the ball back.
So you would have thought about punting there.
You would have punted.
I would have kicked the field goal. I'll be honest with you.
I thought going for it was fine.
It worked out.
And Pete, this is where you drive me crazy a little bit. Because you like pick and choose. Like I'm going to give you a perfect example.
That's what you do.
Hold on, no. Where you can't have it both ways. So let's just review. Like, let's pull out the monitor and let's do a little show review here.
Red flag.
Red flag. I'm throwing the red flag. So a second ago, which I respect Pete's opinion, you know I love him. He said he did not like the zone read call on the 1st and goal.
So he said he didn't like the call, not the execution of it.
He did not like
was the problem.
Yeah, but he didn't like the call. Okay. That's fair. Right. I'm not going to beat him up on that. But he did like the call in the 3rd quarter on 1st and goal where they ran zone read, and he scored.
No, I didn't like.
So I'd like to know the difference.
I don't like the zone read anyways. I don't want him in harm's way. And I didn't like the call either way. You have a big 6'6" quarterback with receivers who are having a good day. Throw the damn ball to him.
And then, any offense coordinator will tell you the best way to score in the tight red zone is to run it in because there's not a lot of space in the passing game. I'll leave that aside. So Pete, hold on.
They weren't running.
I'm not done.
Well. The other argument too is that if you spread everybody out, the defense spreads out a little bit.
That's exactly right. Okay. Then Pete goes on to say he did not like the 4th and 4 call because he didn't like the quarterback scrambling, making plays.
Yeah.
Pete, do you like Patrick Mahomes?
Yes.
How does he make a living?
I didn't say I didn't like him.
How does he make a living, Pete? How does he make a living?
Call.
So the red flag was thrown. The red flag was thrown. The review was done, and Pete has been docked a timeout and 1 challenge because he's terrible.
No,
he's wrong.
No, I didn't like the off schedule plays are accidents and they happen. I get it, but the fact of the matter remains, I didn't like the decision to go for it. I would have kicked the field goal there.
And if you 58, what's the percentages of a 58-yard field goal in the NFL? Not high. It's,
I don't know.
You know,
weather was clean yesterday.
No, but still,
it's
no not.
wind.
It's not a no-brainer. Even with McManus, who's a great kicker,
right?
It's not a guarantee. So Pete, you would have risked giving them the ball at the 48-yard line.
You risk giving them the ball at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, but my point is, I wonder what the percentage of conversion on 4th down is compared to percentage of.
It wasn't 4th and an inch. It was 4th and 4.
Pete, I just said 4th and 4.
Yeah.
What's the percentage?
Analytic numbers would probably say go for it there.
Compared to a field, 58. No, it was a 58.
Yeah,
be a 58-yarder.
Right.
Let me ask you this. Yeah. Okay, let's play this one. If there was a minute left in the game, what would you have done?
And it's 13-0.
And is it tied or what are we doing?
Field goal, right?
No, 13-0. I would have gone. I would probably run the ball and let or I'd go for it because 13-0. A minute left.
Okay, 5 minutes left in the game.
Take a knee. I don't know.
5 minutes left in the game. Does your strategy change? Do you go up? Do you try and go up 16?
No, I don't think so. I think I go for it.
You're fine.
In all seriousness, no, I think so. 58-yarder.
You know who you are? You've become Brandon Staley.
No. He had a meltdown. Pete, I guess to your question under 5 minutes, it depends on the game. I'm a bit like where I agree with you 100%. Where where there's a gap in analytics by itself. I think analytics are important and should inform you, but you also have to get a feel for the game.
Correct.
How's it going today?
Right. Like,
how are we beating the pants off these linemen? Like, that's not in the analytics formula.
And here's one, like interceptions thrown in the final 2 minutes of a game, or or in the end zone at halftime, at the end of 2 minutes of the half. What about the ones where they just throw them up and try and get somebody to catch it as a Hail Mary? How do you analyze? How does the data analyze that?
But the better question than like the time, how much time's left? What would I have done if we were up 13-0 against the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, we've seen that script when it was 3-0 against the Kansas City.
I actually think I take the 3 to make it 16-9. It may be part of my influence. I had zero concern with the Titans' offense at that point of doing anything.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if that's yeah, I get that, but you could also flip that and say, okay, well, you have zero concern if you go up 16-0, they're never coming back.
Yeah, but I was fine with it.
By the way, you mentioned that if it was the Chiefs, well, we saw that script and we saw how that worked out. They went for it on 4th down from
that was the 50.
Yeah, bad decision.
Plenty ahead. If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, look no further than Ford F-150, loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between. This truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll take a look at the AFC South, and then in the second hour, we'll keep it real. And Fanatics fan questions, plenty to get to after a Jaguars win over the Tennessee Titans. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Brooks Rehabilitation has more than 50 years of experience serving the North Florida community with cutting-edge rehabilitation care, ranging from joint replacements, sports injuries, and balance issues to traumatic brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, and strokes. Their highly trained clinical teams span across their system of care to include inpatient, outpatient, skilled nursing, assisted living and memory care, home health, and adaptive community programs. Learn more at brooksrehab.org. Brooks is proud to be the rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you ready to elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans? Citrus Distillers, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is excited to announce the 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Now available at Total Wine and other participating retailers. Elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans. The 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Duval!
Tackle your marketing needs with Kessler Creative. Providing direct mail services for more than a decade, Kessler has a wide range of services from small mailers to large banners and signs. Draft Kessler as your first pick to receive the best targeted mail list. Elevate your business and be on the winning team with Kessler Creative. Kessler Creative, results-driven marketing and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the MyGate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
The kick is up. It's good!
Score winning sub deals this Jaguars regular season at Firehouse Subs. Get 2 medium subs for just $10 after any game when the Jaguars kick a field goal of 40 yards or more. It's a bold deal for the bold city. Sign up at firehousesubs.com/field goals for Firehouse for offer details and to automatically receive this offer when you use your Firehouse Subs rewards account. Redeemable only at participating Jacksonville and Orlando area restaurants. Only available on the Firehouse Subs app and online ordering.
I think we're really accountable, and that makes a difference. We don't have guys that shift blame. You know, we all understand when everyone has a part in wins and everyone has a part in losses. It's never on one or a couple guys, you know. So I think that this team does a great job of understanding that and has the right mindset and bouncing back after rough games, and we all just shoulder some of that blame and just stick together. And I think that's something that we've done a great job of. We've had some adversity, you know, going back the last couple seasons, and we've been good at responding, and we got to keep doing that. That's what the good teams do, you know. It's hard to go undefeated in this league. I mean, there's been, one team to do it? So you're going to have weeks where you don't play great, and you got to find a way to be able to turn the ship and play better the next week.
That's the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars now 4-0 under Doug Pederson in the games after losing by 10-plus points. And it's Jaguars Happy Hour, final moments of the opening hour. J.P. Shadrick, Tony Boselli, Pete Prisco, Jaguars over the Titans 34-14 yesterday. Yes,
he sounds
Pete.
like he's been in the league for about 22 years when he talks.
I know, right? Like he's such a pleasure to listen to every time he has a microphone.
I mean, we see pros in this league. Tony, you've been around a lot of guys who are pros. Hell, I'm going to give you credit. You were a pros pro. But that guy, when he stands up there, you could just tell he's been around the league. He's only been in the league for 2.5 years, and one of those was the Urban year. I mean, think about what he's been through and how he handles himself.
Well, and Pete, it's one of the reasons, like, don't get me wrong, there's concerns. Like, I was concerned after watching that San Francisco game. I'm like, oh, man. Because he just looked sped up and you know, and he hadn't been putting up the big numbers, you know, and hadn't been super efficient, not a lot of touchdowns, so on and so forth. But even after that, and it's moments like what we just listened to and what Pete is referring to, that I'm like, this guy's a superstar. Like, he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And people go, you're crazy, you know, whether it's Richard Sherman or whoever, or, you know, fans after a bad game, like, he only had 9 touchdowns in 9 games. Now he has 11, whatever. You go all down the stats. His stats are not elite. His stats are not elite quarterback stats right now. I'm not going to try to argue that. But what he is he's an elite athlete, an elite leader, and he has elite mental toughness. Like, he just doesn't get fazed. Like, he had a terrible game. Like, I go back to last year. That game in London against the Broncos, he was bad.
Yes.
I mean, you could argue he cost them the game with a couple of those decisions when they were down in the red zone.
Yes. There's a lot of football after that, but yes.
I'm just saying that game.
Yes.
I'll never forget, because that was a situation, first time ever that I can remember. We had a 2-hour wait after the game.
I do remember that.
And we had to go sit in the stadium. They had a room for us where they had food and everything for all the staff, all the coaches, all the players, and the players' family.
Yep.
And so I'm up there, and and it was like a funeral. I mean, everyone was down. It was bad. Like, it was a bad game. The Broncos were bad. We were bad. It was just London. It was just terrible. And I remember sitting there, and I was eating with probably Logs or J.P. or somebody. I can't remember.
I was sitting there with you.
Yeah, we're sitting there, and I looked over, and it was Trevor and his wife by themselves. And I remember looking at him, and you could just tell, like, it was eating him up. Like, he was just disappointed. And nobody was walking by. He wasn't talking to anybody.
Get him next week, bud.
None of that. It was just him sitting there with his wife. And I remember thinking at that moment, saying, we're going to find out, like, what this guy has, because he's about to get heat. He's about to get heat from the fans and from everybody, because this team isn't good right now, bad record, and he just the bed. I mean, it was bad.
No, I don't know what. Tell us.
No,
No, don't do that.
I won't do that. And excuse me if you have kids listening. I apologize. And what do you do after that? He came out and lit it up.
Yeah.
Played great. But more than anything, it's not just that, because I know that's in him. It's how he handles all these situations. If you go back to last week, he was bad. He stood up before anyone could say anything. It's the worst I've played. He owns it. Never makes excuses. All the criticism, he's like, all right, they can say what they want. I don't care. I care about the guys in this locker room. I care about winning. That's all I want to do is win. And I'm telling
you know what? He does. You're right. And we haven't seen close to what he's going to be.
No. Yes.
Not close to it.
Do I think he gets sped up sometimes? Yes. Do I think he misses guys at times? Yes. My guess is, though, and I know this for a fact because I watch tape, they all miss guys.
They all do.
Let's be honest.
They all do.
And you want to know part of the reason he hasn't been put big numbers this year? That's not how the offense has been designed. It's been very horizontal. And guess what? We can all complain, and Pete can say, oh, this, that, and the other, and Tony can say this, that, and the other, and everything else. The bottom line is they are 7-3. They had a 5-game winning streak, and they're in first place, and they're about to go beat the you-know-what out of the Texans and have a 2-game lead and get ready because this is going to be a good second half.
And they just called another bubble screen. I'm kidding.
Second half of the show coming up. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dream Finders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
It's time for sunshine and summer showers, so it's more important than ever to make sure you call Crystal Clean for all your waterproofing needs. Waterproofing can extend the life of your building by keeping water outside where it belongs. And that Florida sun can beat up your business's paint job. Crystal Clean's painting services can bring your building back to life. From waterproofing to painting, schedule Crystal Clean today. Call 904-220-3337 or go to crystalclean.com. You don't have to worry when it's crystal clean.
Are you ready to elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans? Citrus Distillers, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is excited to announce the 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Now available at Total Wine and other participating retailers. Elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans. The 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Duval!
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the MyGate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Let's not make it any harder than it has to be, because games are hard. Winning in this league is tough. We understand that. But let's not make it hard on ourselves. We keep doing what we do, trust our process, and then we keep rolling, right? It's just 1 week at a time, going 1-0. I'm really proud. I'm proud of the way you guys have put in the work during the course of the week, okay? During the course of the week. Pay attention to detail. You do your job. You go out and execute. I know practices aren't fun sometimes, but you know what? It pays off out here on these game days, right? That's a great job. Great job. My hat's off to you. All right, we got one. 1, 2, 3.
Head coach Doug Pederson in the locker room after the Jaguars win over the Titans yesterday, and welcome back. It's hour number 2 of Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. J.P. Shadrick, Tony Boselli, and Pete Prisco. The Jaguars blew out the Titans yesterday, 34-14, and Trevor Lawrence followed up one of his worst performances with one of his better ones as of late. 4 total touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 rushing, 262 yards on 24 of 32 passing. The offensive line kept him clean. No sacks, only 2 quarterback hits in the game for the Titans defense. Calvin Ridley, 7 catches, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns, his third 100-yard game with the Jaguars. The Jags defense smothered Derrick Henry, and they affected rookie quarterback Will Levis all day. 5 hits, 2 sacks, and the Titans had nothing working at all. And yes, special teams played a role. Brandon McManus with a couple of field goals. Ross Matisic, the long snapper, with a tackle, forced fumble, and fumble recovery later in the game. And now the Jaguars are 7-3, 1 game up in the standings on the Texans. They'll face them this Sunday at NRG Stadium in Houston. It's a pivotal AFC South showdown and the Jags' final divisional game until Week 18 when they head to Nashville. That about covers everything that has happened yesterday. And moving ahead here. By the way, Trevor Lawrence, we were talking about the Jags quarterback at the end of the opening hour, bought Waffle House breakfast for the entire business office this morning on Victory Monday in the lobby out there, which was kind of cool.
Did they cater it?
Yes. It was outstanding.
I love Waffle House.
It was great. So,
what'd you dive into, JP? I know you had some.
Well, they had the scrambled eggs, and they had the sausage patties. They had 1 strip of bacon. I didn't have any waffles, though. They had the fresh waffle maker machine.
Oh, my gosh.
Too.
So here's my problem.
I stayed away from the waffle.
I love waffles in general, but Waffle House waffles, I could go eat 5 or 6, no problem. Mm-hmm. And I like them a little bit crispy.
Me too.
It's a little bit crispy, and that butter and syrup. I mean, it is.
I eat mine without the syrup on them.
Not me. I go butter syrup. It's one of the best breakfasts in the country.
Would you rather have pancakes or waffles?
Breakfast. Depends where I am, Pete.
Yeah.
I like both.
We at a pancake house or we at a Waffle House?
No, I prefer waffles. I don't know why. I always have.
Like, I love waffles. I'm a big banana pancake.
Really?
It takes me back to my youth. A big Saturday for us, or Sunday morning, is my dad would make banana pancakes. And as a kid, he'd make it like, this is a special banana pancake.
Yeah,
it's
right.
like, it's Bisquick and bananas. But as a kid, you don't know that.
That was awesome.
It's the greatest thing ever. And to this day, I love banana pancakes. Love them.
It's funny how something like that, you just throw Bisquick in and whatever, but if God forbid they made Italian sauce, they weren't going to pour it out of a jar.
Mm-hmm. Bisquick was a staple.
But you know what I mean, Tony?
Yeah.
In Italian households, there's no way that's ever coming out of a jar.
Well, my mom was an Italian, so we had plenty out of the jar.
Well, my mom was and never came out of the jar.
Yeah, my mom also made it not out of the jar, but
right.
But yeah, it was. I really enjoy Waffle House.
I'm getting hungry. I'll be
that's
honest
pretty
with you.
good. I mean, that's a cool thing that Trevor Lawrence's wife did. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just again, it goes back to what we were saying before about being a pro's pro at a young age. I
Dude,
mean,
he's a leader.
He handles himself like he's been in the league for 10 years. I remember saying that during his rookie year. Remember when they used to bring him out every week to face the music?
Yes.
He handled himself well from that start. That's why that coupled with the fact that he's got the natural ability, and coupled with the fact that he has the right temperament for the game, is why he will be a star quarterback. And those numbers will go up. They're going to go up.
But I love that. I don't think he cares about the numbers. He just wants to win.
Yeah. He said that.
Well, you still care about the number. You don't want to throw. You'd rather throw 35 and 7 and win than 20 and 13 and win.
Oh no, I'm not. He's a competitor. Yeah. But my point is, I mean, Pete. Yes, I agree with you in general. Everyone. I mean, any human being cares.
I think from his point of view, it's like if I have to run to the pylon twice and score touchdowns today, I guess I'll go do that.
That's my point. He's such a competitor. He just wants to win. And yes, secondary he wants to put up big numbers. Who doesn't? But
if I have to dive to the end zone and risk, everything
right.
to go do it.
He's a tough kid too. That's the one thing that's kind of been overlooked through this whole thing. That knee injury might have been worse than what they're saying. Normally you wouldn't be wearing that brace that long, and he played through it. Think about that for a second. He played through it.
Short week,
and
too, by the way.
Short week.
No, but even the last 3 weeks.
But Pete, how about this? How many times has he brought it up?
None.
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
They finally asked about him this week because Doug had said, and I loved his response. So Doug last week said, hey, we've limited a little bit what we can call because of Trevor's injury. Well, what's the press going to do? They're going to ask Trevor next time they get him. And Trevor's response was, I feel great this week. I mean, I just love it. It's like he's way beyond his years when it comes to dealing with all the crap that a franchise quarterback has to deal with.
Agreed.
Because that's just part of the job.
Well, he came into the league and had to deal with the biggest crap ever given to a rookie quarterback. He had to deal with Urban Meyer.
It's Pete, accurate. Hard to even add anything to that.
It's what it is. It's what it is. So now it's on to Houston to face the Texans at NRG Stadium. Battle for first place in the AFC South. The Texans won the matchup back in Week 3, and it's been a long time coming. So the Jaguars now have the one-game advantage in the division race in terms of wins and losses. They have the tiebreaker at the moment. And, of course, if the Texans were to win, they would have the advantage in the division race moving forward. And there's quite a road ahead for the Jaguars in the next 3 weeks after this week's game. It's all AFC North teams, but it's all about this week. And going down to Houston, and historically it's been a tough place to go for this Jaguars organization. But you got to change that at some point. Why not now?
Well, the first thing you have to do in that scenario, you bring up the past. Like, you have to look at each other and say, who cares?
Yeah, flush it, right?
That's
what they talk about.
I guess I wouldn't even say flush it, because when you say, let's flush it, you give it some credence. You give it some value. Instead of just saying, who cares? What does that have to do with this week? Like, what happened last year, the year before, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20? It does not matter.
What about earlier this year? Does that matter?
I think it does. Within the season, it matters.
Okay.
Because you can learn from it. Because you're playing the same team.
You got smoked by 20 points by them.
And you can use it as a motivation.
Yeah.
That you were embarrassed on your home field. Like, let's go embarrass them. But as far as the history, does it matter? Do they get extra points because they've won 8 of 9?
No.
And so that's the first thing you have to do as a player. Is like, okay, I'm going to worry about what matters. You know what matters?
Isn't it 10 of 11?
Whatever it is, Pete. My point. I wasn't trying to be accurate on the stats. I was just making a point.
Pete's like, wait a minute, sir, you're incorrect.
My point is, who cares? You don't get extra points. What are they going to be, extra confident? Ooh, it's like Pete. You always say it, and I give a little credence to bulletin board material because I think it helps you get a little more focused during the week in your prep. But when the ball's kicked, who cares if a guy said this or that or whatever?
It's not gonna. Is it gonna make you play harder?
I think bulletin board material, I think, does help a team get even more laser focused during the week.
But it won't make you play harder on Sunday.
Well, I mean, I hope
because
not.
If you're not playing hard, if it makes you play harder, that means you're not playing as hard as you possibly can play.
Right.
That's always been my theory on it.
And I agree with that, Pete. But what it does do is because you're laser focused during the week and that extra little, like Tom Brady, I've heard him talk about it. He would create like chips on his shoulder for every opponent. Because it just, human nature, like forces you, reminds you of how important the process and the practice and getting ready is. Because I think all of humans have a tendency to kind of relax and take a deep breath. And that's a reminder to dial in and focus. And what that does do, gets you ready for kickoff. But once the ball's kicked off, like you're going.
None of that matters. Right. None of it
You're
matters.
going. And so, like, who cares? I don't care that they've.
So you psychologically, 10 of 11 is out the window as you kick the ball off. I would tend to agree with you.
Would not matter one bit. Not matter one bit. I mean,
now,
I've been in games.
One thing as we have to look at it from our standpoint as a player, I get it, but is there something at play that because they've been better than that team? Why is it happening?
Well, let me tell you why. Let me tell you one thing that can. The opposite is true too as a player. If you don't dismiss it and you give it life, the first time something goes wrong,
here we go again,
is you get the dreaded sentence in your head, here we go again, and people start looking around. And so if you give life to the fact that they've won 9 of 10 or 10 or 11, whatever it is, then that will possibly come back to hurt you during the game. Because that little nagging thought in the back of your head.
Kind of like in '99 with a certain team from the state of Tennessee.
Well, I still conclude if I wasn't on the field.
Wow! He went there.
He had nothing to do with it, Pete. Imagine
there
that.
There is an eye in Boselli.
No, but Pete, you're right though. I do think that had something to do with it. Because even me sitting in the booth, all joking aside, I was hurt. Blew my knee out before that game.
Was it a suite?
I was in a suite, yes, of course.
Yeah, of course.
You got the sense when it started going the wrong way, it's like, here we go again. And even I, who had nothing to do with the one way or another, if they would have won, like one of the biggest things in my entire life, the hardest moments, was that moment right there when we kicked off. I was excited for us to win and go to the Super Bowl, but I realized I'd have nothing to do with it. Now, I had a big part of us getting to a 14-2.
In that 60
but
minutes
in that 60 minutes and going to the Super Bowl, if we did win to the following week, I would have nothing to do with it. I'd have no impact. And
you would have been the outsider celebrating with him.
That's right. And I knew at that moment that for the rest of my life, I would have nothing to do with that moment.
So he was rooting for the Titans.
I was not. That's not true at all. And I knew, but because losing too has haunted me because I had nothing to do with that moment to help impact it.
Yeah, right.
That's the worst thing. That's one thing that has nothing to do with anything we're about to talk about, but just a little side note as I chase this rabbit here is I don't think what the average fan understands like I watched Florida State and Jordan Travis get hurt.
That was awful. Just awful.
And my heart broke for the kid because you immediately feel like you're hopeless. And no matter all his friends and teammates coming to visit him and all the nice things everyone says, he's a great kid. My son is close to him. Just a fabulous kid. None of that matters when you're in that place because you realize, and Pete said it, half joking, half not, you're an outsider at some level because you're not in the fight and you don't get to impact the fight, win or lose. And I think that's what people, it's hard to understand unless you're there.
You know what? I never really truly understood that until I started really being around the NFL and the locker room on a regular basis. I don't care who you are. This is cruel and crass.
It is.
When you're hurt and injured in the NFL, and I'm talking about not a part of the team, like you're on injury reserve or something.
You're not part of the team.
Like dead to it. You're almost like you're dead to the team, right? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like a star could walk through the locker room injured, and he's just like, oh, well, all right, there he goes. He's walking through. He's not part of the team anymore. He's just not. It's one of the worst things I've seen
awful.
on that side of the locker room.
It's awful.
It really is.
But back to my point of what we're talking about, it can hurt you if you give power to what's happened in the past. Think about your normal life. We all deal with
Right.
stuff. If you give power to something in the past, it influences the future. If you give no power to it, it can't do anything. But by the way,
here's the
in
other
reality,
thing
it
about
can't.
that. Here's the other thing about it. Remember in the days when San Francisco and Seattle were beating each other up in the playoffs in the division, trying to go to Super Bowls and stuff, they had a lot of veteran guys that had played each other. So history, man, these two groups, they have no idea. They've been around long enough to be involved in the history.
They don't care. And if you do care, you're missing it.
But it is 10 of 11.
It doesn't matter, Pete.
Thanks, Pete. Plenty ahead. We'll keep it real when we return. And PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. And it's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're in the market for a full-size 8-passenger SUV, look no further than the Defender 130. And with the Defender 90, the 110, and this 130, there's luxury in the right size for everyone. Right, Sammy?
Plus, when you buy or lease from Land Rover Jacksonville, you'll become a member of the Fields Amenities Program with complimentary loaners, car washes, our cafe, and much more, all at no charge.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguars sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguars sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguars sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Taylor Doll here for Renewal by Anderson. Upgrade your home with a winning combination of style and performance. For a limited time, get 20% off of every window, 20% off all patio doors, and 20% off of installation. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. Offer expires October 31st. Restrictions apply. Renewal by Anderson, proud to be the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com. License number CGC 1527613.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at jaguars.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase to enter or win, must be 18 or older and a legal resident of Florida or Georgia. Promotion period 9/5/23 through 12/15/23. For official rules and complete details, visit jaguars.com/shadows. Sponsored by Jacksonville Jaguars, LLC.
As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Whether you're cheering on the Jaguars at home or away, Ticketmaster has you covered. With Ticketmaster's interactive seat map, you'll get a 360-degree preview of your seat so you can make sure you've got the best view of those pivotal plays. Plus, the Ticketmaster app makes it easy to sell or transfer tickets if your plans change. And mobile tickets make getting in on game day a breeze. Find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars. That's Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
It just goes to show the resiliency of our football team. We've only been together a short while, but this is a resilient group. They always seem to work themselves back and fight their way back. When they have a setback, and they've done it. They did it again today, and hats off to the leadership of the football team and really
each man doing his job, and that's the type of football that we're capable of playing.
That's the head coach, of course, Doug Pederson, after the Jags win over the Titans yesterday. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings, J.P. Shadrick, Tony Boselli, Pete Prisco. And time now for Keeping It Real, presented by Woodbridge by Robert Mondavi. Open up a winner today. Real ingredients, award-winning wine by Robert Mondavi. And we go into the wide receiver room. It was a full week on and off the field for Zay Jones, but finally back on the field off the knee injury Sunday. How did the return of Zay Jones change the offense? And how will it change it moving forward if he can stay healthy?
It's hard to say completely outside of just the stats and kind of how it felt, because unless you gave Doug and Press truth serum and asked them the questions of how does it change how they call the game or how they design the offense, we're not going to really know. But I do think he's a vertical threat. And because he has straight ahead speed, and I thought he stretched the defense a couple times. I think there was opportunities to take shots down the field to him as well. They did one time. And so that's another guy opposite Calvin who a defense has to be aware of down the field. Because I don't think teams they're not nervous about Christian Kirk beating them over the top. Because he's an underneath slot receiver. He's dangerous in the middle of the field. He's a great player. But that's not his expertise to, stretch the field. But I think adding Zay allows that, and I think it can loosen up the defense a little bit.
Yeah, they're not building a fence at 8 yards, which like the 49. Like if he was in the 49ers game, I wonder if they would have played the same style of defense, Tony, that they did last week.
I think they would have at the start, but it would have been more interesting would the Jaguars had confidence to take some shots.
Pull the trigger and do it. Right.
Yeah. That's what he gives them. He gives them the ability to take shots. But I also think they moved Ridley around and got him in favorable matchups a little bit more because Zay Jones is on the field. And Zay isn't exactly known for being a guy who runs crossers, and they ran him on some crossers in this game. I really like what they did in that game on Sunday. And I think having him gives you 3 receivers. Think about it. When he's on the field, it gives you 3 threats. When he's not on the field, you don't have 3 threats. You have 2. And I think it's easier to cover Ridley.
Ingram. I disagree with that.
Ingram, but you know what I mean. I'm talking about from the receiver position.
Right.
So, it could change it.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, listen, he's one of your best players.
We'll see how that knee goes
so having
as well, though, right? I mean,
absolutely. I think it's a little bit of a week to week. You got to just hold your breath a little bit.
He talked today in the locker room. It was open locker room today for the first time this season on Monday, and he said, felt pretty good coming out of the game.
He had
first time he's worn the brace.
I was going to say he had a brace on.
He had never worn one ever, he said.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's something he'll do the rest of the year.
Open locker room on Monday?
What's that?
They don't have open locker room on Monday?
This was the first one.
Why is that? That's news to me. I'm not here Monday, so it doesn't matter.
I don't know. But it was open today.
That's odd. You don't get a chance to explain yourself away?
I don't know. I'm just saying it was open today. So
no, I know you don't know, but okay, I'm going to go on record. I think that's a terrible policy. They should have an open locker room on Monday. How about that?
Well, I always thought it was mandatory. Was the old rules that mandatory we had to? Because I'm sure Tom would have found a way not to do it if he didn't have to.
Oh, he would have closed them every day of the week if he could have.
Fort Knox.
The best
so when's it open? It's open on Wednesday and Thursday now?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Yeah.
No Monday.
The best in the old days on Mondays, it'd be open locker room and
nobody's in there.
90% of the locker room.
That's kind of what it was today.
90% of the locker room would go into the players' lounge.
Just hide.
Come face the damn music, would you?
But Pete, who never dodged you guys?
You didn't. You didn't dodge.
I purposely sat there.
You didn't go hide in the training room or nothing?
Never.
No, he did not.
Because I figured, you know what?
Get it over with.
You know what? I'm going to be a media one day. Maybe I need to.
No, that's not why.
Yeah.
The reality is why, and I think Pete will back this up. As the first pick of the franchise, and I was a Pro Bowl player, viewed as I felt like it was my responsibility. Like someone had to talk to these guys. And so I just felt like it was my responsibility, part of the job, and they had a job to do. Pete had a job to do. I had a job to do. This is the way.
It's different now, though. It really is different.
Well,
now.
back then, too, remember, there was no way to get, as a player, your voice to the fans.
That's right. You had no social media. You didn't have your own account where you could do your own video review.
No, so this was because I knew Pete was going to write something. He was going to write about the offensive line. So I wanted to hear his questions, and we had contentious conversations because I wanted to push back and I wanted to give my narrative.
But that's part of always been my message to the guys now is you may as well open it up, because if you don't, and this is not just in Jacksonville, it's across the league, then somebody writes something, you have no recourse whatsoever to push back on it. And that's why I say just be honest with them. Just answer the questions and make your players available. It's nothing that they say is going to impact Tony. We just went through the whole thing. It's not going to impact the game. It's just not. So what's the big deal? So if a guy's hurt, put him out there. Let him say that. I think that's great. They put Zay Jones out there today. He got to talk. That's good. Now, I know he wouldn't answer the questions about the off the field stuff, but that's fine. That's his decision. That's his prerogative. But those guys have to ask the questions, and that's understandable. And I think from a football standpoint, you get to ask the questions about the knee. I don't know. I think the relationships between media and player has gone by the wayside in large part. I think COVID helped do that.
Oh, man, that hurt it. That really did hurt it a lot, Pete, because we weren't in there for, 2 years?
You know what, too, JP? They found out they didn't need you in there. And once they find out they don't need you in there, then they ain't going to open it back up to what it used to be. That's just the reality of the way it is. And I'm not just talking about Jacksonville. I'm talking about in the NFL, period.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
I'll give Zay credit, because it would have been easy for him just to go hide somewhere in the locker room or somewhere else during open media with all that's going on with his life off the field. And my only thing, all I'm going to say about his off the field stuff is everyone should just sit back and wait till this thing plays out.
And we've seen that in history in Jaguars players too. Let it play out. And if it's true, then it's a major issue. If it's not true, then let it play out. But you have to let it play out, because Tony, you had players and teammates that had stuff go on when you were there, and if they had once it played out two different ways. Some of them were bad, and some of them turned out not to be that bad.
You are still innocent until proven guilty in this country. I'll just remind everyone of that.
That was Keeping It Real, presented by Woodbridge by Robert Mondavi. Open up a winner today. Real Ingredients award-winning wine by Robert Mondavi. All Elite Wrestling returns home to Jacksonville with an explosive AEW Dynamite and Rampage. See all the action at Daly's Place Wednesday, January 10th. Tickets on sale at dailysplace.com. Fanatics fan questions are next. Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguars sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguars sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguars sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
What's Bright Friday? It's the Black Friday event you won't want to miss. And it's happening now at your local Ford dealer. Brighten your holidays with great offers on a new Ford, like Ford F-150, the truck at the top of everyone's list. Ford Explorer, an SUV with room for all your presents and passengers. And if you want big holiday thrills, there's the Bronco Sport SUV. But hurry, Ford's Bright Friday event ends November 30th. See your local Ford dealer today.
As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Whether you're cheering on the Jaguars at home or away, Ticketmaster has you covered. With Ticketmaster's interactive seat map, you'll get a 360-degree preview of your seat so you can make sure you've got the best view of those pivotal plays. Plus, the Ticketmaster app makes it easy to sell or transfer tickets if your plans change. And mobile tickets make getting in on game day a breeze. Find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars. That's Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Everyone wins when two great traditions team up. Yucatan Guacamole is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Our authentic guacamole recipe starts with hand-scooped avocados and ends up in your hands fresh and ready to enjoy. Grab some on game day at the Yucatan Cantina or Yucatan Nacho Carts around the stadium or at local retail stores. Sack your snack game with Yucatan Guacamole.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. The second hour continues, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings, J.P. Shadrick, Tony Boselli in Jacksonville at the Miller Electric Center. Hyundai Studios, the friendly confines. Pete Prisco, yeah, very friendly. Always friendly when you're around, Tony.
I like being here.
What'd you get from Chubby's Wings today?
That's Pete Prisco. Not today. Thanksgiving week, taking a week off. They'll be back with us next week when all our crew's around to work again. So yeah.
I was.
There's still people here working. Don't get me wrong, but we'll be back next week.
We are here.
Yes, we're here.
I saw that you're working this Thanksgiving.
I am.
Lions, Packers.
Correct, in Detroit.
It's a big shot weekend for JP. Kudos to JP. He's calling a national pro football game and a college game this week.
Yeah. Ohio State, Michigan.
Big games, big audiences. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. I'm excited. The Thanksgiving game, man. That's the one. I mean, that's a big deal. I'm excited for that. I got to say.
Are you working Thanksgiving, Tony?
No.
What you usually do, though?
I have the opposite approach this year. I've worked every Thanksgiving outside of the 1 year in 2020 COVID year. I worked every Thanksgiving since 2008.
Wow.
Maybe 9. I'll say this. My daughter, 14-year-old daughter, never knows of having Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving Day outside of the one COVID year because we celebrated on Friday. I'd do the game Thursday and fly home. And this year when they came, Westwood One said, hey, what games you want to do, so on and so forth. Told them, and I said, but I'm not working Thanksgiving.
Interesting.
I chose not to because I wanted to be home with the family. So we have 30 people coming over. And I bring this up only because Angie the other day, because JP in the past has joined us on Thanksgiving. Angie the other day said, hey, make sure you tell JP to come over for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, he's working.
You can use your Alexa-enabled device and say, "Open Westwood One Sports,"
and we can
I'll
listen
be right
to you.
there with you.
We can listen to you.
We can listen to JP on Thursday. I'm working on Thursday, but
what do you got? Like pregame, Pete? What do you got?
Yeah, I got pregame in the studio on Thursday. So look, I've gone on the road. I've been in Detroit for Thanksgiving before. It's a great environment.
Oh, it's awesome.
Even when they stunk, it used to be a great environment.
That place will be rocking.
Oh, they're rolling. That's their best start since 1962.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
It almost got ruined on Sunday a little bit.
Boy, they had to rally to do it. How about
Brunell had to get his quarterback straightened out in the second
3 picks.
Second half. Oh, he didn't play very good.
How about Hutchinson calling game at the end with the sack and the fumble and the safety?
It was impressive.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. Hey, it's time for Fanatics fan questions. Jags fans, gear up at Fanatics.com with all latest Jag style. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything. We put the cat signal out on X earlier today. Here are the best we've come up with. At Jaws 960608. How did Ezra Cleveland and Walker Little look at left guard? Who played better? Would they like to see reps for Little at right tackle with Ezra at left guard?
Yeah, I've heard this before. I'm going to answer it this way. Too small of a sample size to compare Ezra and Walker Little. You know, in what I would consider real game time, so not the last 15 plays or so when the game's over and they're just running it. I think Ezra only had the one series. Did he do a good job?
With the starters.
With the starters, that's what I'm saying. Did he do a good job? Absolutely. Look fine. I think it's way too early to start messing around and playing musical chairs with the offensive line at this point. I'm not saying you don't in the future. Let's see how it goes. They're 7-3.
Well, they clearly are considering it if they're rotating him in.
Well, I think they're looking at stuff, yeah. But I don't think it's time, and I would not bench the rookie either. He's your right tackle.
I wouldn't bench the rookie either.
He's your right tackle.
First round pick tackle. Yeah, you don't bench him.
But if Walker Little, you could make a change there.
You would make a change right now, Pete?
I wouldn't. I would not.
I wouldn't. No. I would not either.
Here's the other thing. Cam wasn't great on Sunday either. He was okay. He was solid.
I thought he was solid. I love Cam. I love his physicality. He has a toughness he brings to the group. It drives me crazy, though. He has one bad habit that drives me crazy. He drops that back foot at times and shortens the corner. And he is so talented, so athletic. He does not need to do that. I think it's just a bad habit. And
when he does that like even there's it leads to pressure, but not okay. There were no sacks, but it leads to like up the field pressure.
Yeah, it forces. It shortens the corner, so it gives the perception, or it's real, that there's pressure off the backside and forces Trevor to move around. And
what should he do?
Not drop his back foot, just punch and extend the guy. Like pass blocking is all about angles. Like you can put a defensive end in a bind just by the way you set before anything happens, because you take away the angles. Why does that become a habit?
Why would that become a habit? Is it just did he get?
Who knows?
Something like that as a left tackle. What I mean, back in the day,
it could be. I haven't talked to Cam about it for a while. I don't know if I've ever specifically brought it up, because I tend not to bring those things up with guys unless they ask me. Because Phil Rauscher's a great coach, and I guarantee he's talking about it. I think it can be out of like you're afraid of the power, so you're dropping to get anchor, and then it just turns into a habit. I'm not sure. Listen, we all have habits. I mean, I would watch all the time. I'm like, ooh, that's a bad one. Don't want to do that again. But that's one, and he just puts himself in tough situations he doesn't need to, because he's so talented. And it's the only way you break that is, through a lot of repetition on the practice field by yourself, working through it.
Tony, explain to people what the drop in the foot means. I mean, because
he's a left tackle, so he drops his left foot, his outside foot,
right.
And so the key is you want to force. Number one, you want to be inside out all the time, because the shortest distance to the quarterback is a straight line, which is right through your inside shoulder. And so you want to stay inside out, take away the inside. And when you set, you want to make the guy run the long hump, meaning make him go the long way. And so the squarer you can set, and the longer you can keep your hips and shoulders square or parallel to the line of scrimmage, the longer the route that guy's going to have to take. But as soon as you drop that back foot, it forces
putting it behind you.
Behind you. It opens your hips and shoulders, and now all of a sudden you've shortened that corner.
You can cut the
become
angle.
Narrow.
Yeah, you don't, and so you don't play big. And Cam is so athletic, and he has great length. Just fixing that one thing would make him that much more difficult to beat. And he's a good tackle. I mean, Cam's a good left tackle.
And that's a big body if he's square to
gosh.
Ruin around. Yeah.
And so a lot of times you get into things where you don't even feel it, because it's a thing of comfort. Whatever triggers that, whether mental, because a lot of times it's mental. if you're worried about, like, a lot of times, no one likes to get bull rushed. And so I would have to, a bad habit I'd start leaning if I was afraid of the bull. And so I would have to tell myself, and I have little keywords like trust it, or whatever, as I'm going to the line of scrimmage. And basically what I was telling myself is, don't worry about getting bulled. And what I found when I didn't worry about getting bulled and just reacted to it and just did my technique, I had no issues. When I was worried about getting bulled, I would start leaning and everything else went out the window because my technique, because my hips would get high, I'd lose my balance, I wasn't as athletic, all the things. And there would be a series where I'd get to the sideline, I'm like, I made that way harder than it had to be. Like, when you get back out there, idiot. This is all me talking to myself now. Right. Hey, idiot. And I used a different word I can't use on the radio. Like, just go do your job. Just trust your technique.
Tony, the dropping of the foot, is that why when you see linemen practicing all the time, they're practicing their shuttle like an individual? You know what I'm talking about? The jumps.
Yeah, you want to practice your sets. And like you have, as a tackle, you can have multiple sets. You have a jump set. You can have like a flatter set where you feel like you're not worried about the speed. You want to widen the pocket. You can have a vertical set against maybe a faster individual. And you can have all different kinds of sets. And I would try to change it up during the game. I always viewed it as almost like a pitcher. You don't want to just throw fastballs all the time because even, if you have a great fastball, sooner or later they time it up, it's gone.
But dropping your foot, none of those are working.
No, like you don't want, like you never want to drop your foot.
Right.
And he doesn't do it like it's usually at contact when he punches is when if he drops it. It's not like it's every play, but it's too often.
Right.
That's when it happens. So. I don't know how we got there from the question about Walker's
offensive line. Yeah.
You offer such good insight on the position. Obviously, you're a Hall of Famer. It's good to hear it. I mean, it's good to hear the analysis of that. I find it really educational for me, and I'm sure the fans out there want to hear it too.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's, but back to the question, I would not make any changes this week.
I wouldn't either right now.
None. No. You want to rep Ezra, so if something's going wrong, he's ready to go. I mean, the luxury you have with Ezra.
I wouldn't rep him in the middle of games unless you were
No.
considering.
I'm not saying. I'm saying all week, Pete, during practice.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
Because here's the luxury you have. If something happens to either guard, you have a starting caliber guy on the bench. Not many teams have that, Pete, where they have a starting caliber offensive lineman on the bench.
No, and they have a starting caliber tackle that's available too. Because if something were to go wrong with one of the tackles, he could play either one of the tackles. You could put Cleveland in it.
That's exactly right.
You have flexibility. I get why they got him.
Next question at Tony B's henchman. What is the key for the defense to slow down C.J. Stroud this week?
It's the same as every quarterback. Hit him, pressure him, move him off his spot. Don't let him get comfortable because he has an elite arm, and from what I've seen, he has elite accuracy. And if you give him time back there, he's going to find someone, and he's going to try to stick it in there. And he's been pretty good at sticking it where he wants it right now. As far as
he stuck it in the Cardinals' stomach 3 times on Sunday.
That's right. He's not like everyone. This is what you do to everyone else's quarterback when someone gets hot. Like you act like they're infallible. Right. I mean, the guy's a rookie still. And
I will say this, Tony, though. All my years covering this league, it's hard for me to remember a rookie quarterback that makes it look so effortless and easy as he does when he makes those big throws.
What about Marino when he was a rookie?
That's the one. And I don't want to say it. I've said it before. We've been sitting in our green room, and I've said that before, and people go, oh, my God, how can you say that? Because I know how you feel about Marino. He's the one that comes to mind. That's how easy and effortless it is for him to throw the football.
And so you have to hit him. I mean, if you go back to the first game, we didn't get close.
No.
Josh Allen got hurt during that game. That's where he hurt his shoulder. This was a different team. And so the formula is no different than any other team. Stop the run, hit the quarterback.
Yep. And you blitz them. You blitz them.
I didn't call one.
I thought like they came after Levis yesterday with all kinds of blitzes. That was impressive.
Yeah, I think this defense is in a much better place, more when I say better, further along than
Right.
obviously week 3, as you would expect. But yeah, it's no secret. I mean, he's a very good player. He's still a rookie. But he's another one, Pete. I'll give him credit. He reminds me of Trevor as how he handles the media. Like, I've seen some interviews with him and some press conferences. I'm like, okay, this is a mature dude.
Well, like he said after the game yesterday, he said, I'm like, Steph Curry doesn't stop shooting a shot when he misses some. He goes, I threw some interceptions, but doesn't mean I'm going to stop shooting my shot. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear that.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him. He's a really good player. And this defense has its hands full because they're putting up points. They're moving the ball. Now, the Cardinals.
Any chance Campbell plays?
Huh?
Any chance Campbell plays?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Tyson, yeah. The hamstring? It's a good question.
And they got. And
I'll be honest with you. Brown played pretty well on Sunday, but now you're talking about going against a guy who's really throwing the football, and they got some weapons on that team.
Well, that Tank Dell can absolutely fly.
He's a rookie too.
He can fly. My goodness, where'd he come from? What round was he picked in?
2.
Golly.
Wasn't it, or 3? I'll tell you what. There's a couple receiver coaches in this league that thought he was the best receiver in the draft class.
Really?
Yeah. When I was leading up to the draft process, I loved it. He was on one of my, I do that team of better guys I like better than the scouts. He was one of them.
Third round pick out of the University of Houston.
Third rounder?
Yep. He was his third.
Well, he's
school.
little.
Yeah.
He's tiny. So
he's out of
people were scared
Daytona
off by his height.
Went to Mainland High School.
The dude can fly.
Well, what's funny, JP? You say he went to Mainland High School. There were 2 guys on my better than team that were little small receivers that I liked. One went to Mandarin High School. Plays for the Patriots, Demario Douglas.
How about that?
How's he doing, Pete?
Recently, very well. Their offense stinks, but he's starting to make plays for them in a big way. He's going to be a really good one too.
Let's get one more question in before we call it a night on the questions. At tserve07, why do we get the negative vibes by our own media despite being 7-3? It's always a but.
Because that's what the media is supposed to do, if you're being honest. I mean,
that's what everybody's supposed to do.
No,
that's
but
just the way what are you supposed to do
after
they got their ass kicked by the 49ers?
No, but Pete, I think let me say it differently. And I think I love our media and all the local media. Their job's not to be fans, even though sometimes they act like fans, and that's what drives me crazy. Their job is to be objective individuals who report on what is happening with the team. Not to cheer them on, or be fans, or call it as they see it. And, listen, we talk about this a lot, and we talked about it earlier. Pete used to drive me crazy. Him and Osher had this dang grading system. And we would win.
No, it was me. It wasn't him because he would never do it. It was me.
He was scared. Osher was scared. And better person than Pete.
Wow. Man, that's a shot.
I'm joking, Pete. But and he'd have this grades, and we'd win, and he'd be like, "Oh, offensive line C-." I'm like, "Hey, kiss my you-know-what, C-." But at the end of the day, that's his job. His job was to report on the team, develop storylines, what's going on, and call balls and strikes at some level of what was happening. That's their job. His job is not to be a fan.
No, and you know me, JP. This team could win a Super Bowl in February.
Oh, he'll pick it apart.
The show we have the next day, I will criticize some decision.
Boy, they ran too many bubble screens in the Super Bowl. Too many bubble screens in the Super Bowl win.
Too many bubble screens. 22 bubble screens in the Super Bowl. They won, but they still ran too many of them.
They won by 21, but I don't like the trick play on the goal line.
Yeah, 4th and 4. Shouldn't have gone for it. I mean, wow. Fanatics fan questions are in. Thank you for all the submissions today. Grab your hats and get ready for a good time. Everbank Stadium welcomes country music legend George Strait with Chris Stapleton and Little Big Town May 11th, 2024. Tickets on sale now. For more, visit everbankstadium.com. Tony, you getting a suite for that one? Can I come?
I got tickets already.
You did?
Yes. Actually, I did. My sister got them.
Wow.
Yeah. It's her 50th birthday in May. And so she wanted, her husband got tickets for her and invited us. So I haven't told them yet, as I'm only going if we get a suite, but we'll figure that out later.
Got a few months.
To figure that out. I got to talk to some people
around the
some
NFL.
of my people.
When we come back, it's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
What's Bright Friday? It's the Black Friday event you won't want to miss. And it's happening now at your local Ford dealer. Brighten your holidays with great offers on a new Ford, like Ford F-150, the truck at the top of everyone's list. Ford Explorer, an SUV with room for all your presents and passengers. And if you want big holiday thrills, there's the Bronco Sport SUV. But hurry, Ford's Bright Friday event ends November 30th. See your local Ford dealer today.
Brooks Rehabilitation is hiring nurses who want to be empowered as advocates, educators, care coordinators, and leaders in exceptional patient care. They have open RN, LPN, HHA, and CNA positions across their inpatient, skilled nursing, and home health care settings. Join their nationally recognized team, where you'll serve as a central team member doing what you do best, providing exceptional patient care. Apply at careers.brooksrehab.org. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Whether you're cheering on the Jaguars at home or away, Ticketmaster has you covered. With Ticketmaster's interactive seat map, you'll get a 360-degree preview of your seat so you can make sure you've got the best view of those pivotal plays. Plus, the Ticketmaster app makes it easy to sell or transfer tickets if your plans change. And mobile tickets make getting in on game day a breeze. Find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars. That's Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
It's time for sunshine and summer showers, so it's more important than ever to make sure you call Crystal Clean for all your waterproofing needs. Waterproofing can extend the life of your building by keeping water outside where it belongs. And that Florida sun can beat up your business's paint job. Crystal Clean's painting services can bring your building back to life. From waterproofing to painting, schedule Crystal Clean today. Call 904-220-3337 or go to crystalclean.com. You don't have to worry when it's crystal clean.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. It's a happy place today after a Jaguars win.
Should be.
Not over the top, though. I mean, they just handled their business.
Well, because here's I go back to what I said.
Not like cartwheels down the hall or anything.
There should be. They should beat that team. They're better than that team.
Than the Titans.
The Titans. And they beat the you-know-what out of them. And guess what?
Tony just totally dissed the win all week. Just like, just push this aside. Yeah. We don't need to talk about
this. This is the homecoming game. We're on to,
It's like Alabama's schedule. When they have that cupcake every year in November. What is that they play? It's like
Chattanooga.
I got to be honest with you, because I hate the Titans so much. It feels good to completely dismiss them. It was like, that was easy. Move on. They kind
See Vrabel today. He's like, they're a better coach team. They're a better team than us. It's like, whoa, all right.
And we are. And guess what? And we're going to go beat the Texans this week. We're a better team.
You locked it already. Pete, did you officially lock it, or was that just?
I officially locked. It's locked.
Okay, double lock. Double checking the double lock. That's out there now. There's no coming off that, by the way.
And by the way, after we beat them, it's not like let's not have a parade.
No,
because we're 8-3.
We get the Bengals at home though without Joe Burrow.
But my point is, Pete, this team, I love. They go one at a time, one week seasons, and that's how you have to think. Hold on, let me finish, Pete. That's how you have to think if you're in that locker room. The three of us don't have to think that way.
No.
We can look ahead.
Darn right.
And you go win this week, which we will, because when we double lock, it's done. It's over.
Except that one time.
Don't bring that up. It's over.
It's in the past. We're looking forward.
We're looking forward. It has nothing to do with the future. But you get to 8-3. Now your sights are on the number 1 seed. Now, the problem with that is you lost the tiebreaker, so you need them to lose 2, and you got to go undefeated. And that'll be hard.
You got to beat Baltimore.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football at the bank. First time since 2008.
It's going to be awesome. I just love winning. I love when we're good. I love it all. And this is probably as excited as I've been this year for a football game. This week.
This Sunday. Jaguars, Texans.
I'm going back to that last game, Tennessee game. I was so excited for that. In the playoffs, playoffs you're always excited. But I think this is the most excited I've been about football this year.
Well, because Kansas City was so early.
Yeah, it was early. Everyone was
Buffalo,
getting so
you were unsure. You were unsure about the team, so you didn't know what they were, and maybe it was over there, so it wasn't. You didn't know. You know what I mean? You didn't know how good Jackson. There was concern about Jacksonville at that point, and now they're playing better. At least last week they did. You're playing a good team on the road for the division. Basically, I think it's the division title in my book.
I don't know if it's the division title, but I know I'm excited for it, and it's a huge game.
Yeah, huge game. Still a lot of football after the fact.
Sure, there's a lot of
Important
football,
games.
but it's huge.
Yes,
This is a huge
get
game.
2-game lead with splitting the series.
And here's the thing.
Yep.
And so we 8-3. That means you have 6 games left. Only one of those games are a division game.
That's right. The
last
one.
game.
You could be resting guys by then.
I mean, gosh, it's exciting.
What if they rested guys in Nashville? Week 18.
I'm gonna rest too. I gotta get ready for it.
You'd rather have a chance for the 1 seed, though.
Yeah, because if you're resting, that means you're locked in. You're locked into the 2.
Maybe they're locked.
No, you're locked into the probably, or you could be locked into the
2 or 3. 2 or 3.
Yeah. Locked into 1.
And that means the Chiefs have to lose 3 games.
Yeah, that ain't happening. But their schedule's tough, though.
Yeah.
That schedule starts tonight, Monday Night Football. It's a rematch of Super Bowl 57 from February. Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles at 8-1 meet Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs at 7-2. No Taylor Swift tonight, a scheduling change in Brazil. Who you got at Arrowhead?
You know what? I hate the NFC because I'm an AFC guy. I've been my whole career. But I'm rooting hard for those Eagles tonight. Let's go, Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly.
And who do you think's winning?
Where's it at? It's in Philly, right?
It's in Arrowhead.
No,
you didn't listen to what I
Arrowhead.
just said? It's
No,
in Arrowhead.
I was only listening for you to mess up, and once you didn't, I didn't pay attention.
Taylor Swift in and everything.
Arrowhead.
I'm going Eagles. I think the Eagles win.
I'm taking the Chiefs. They have the better defense. They'll win the game.
All right. The picks are in.
Pete, you have not been very good on picking Monday Night Football this year.
What are you talking about? I've been really good.
No, you haven't. You've been wrong a bunch.
Who do we have last week?
I don't remember. I just feel like you've been wrong a lot. I can't actually remember, and I have no proof to that
I would
statement.
tell you if I'm wrong.
The Monday
I
night
know
game
when I'm
was
wrong.
Broncos-Bills. That's why I all got it wrong.
Yeah, I got
Everybody
that one
picked the
wrong.
Bills.
Thank you. I told you got it wrong.
Right.
Did you get that one right?
No.
Okay.
I've been wrong, too, because I've been going with you.
Week before that, it was Chargers at Jets.
Got that one right.
Week before that, week 8, the Monday night game was Lions hosting the Raiders.
Got that one right.
Week 7, Monday night, was 49ers losing on the road in Minnesota.
You got that one wrong.
I all got that one wrong.
Got that one wrong.
Both
So did
of them.
you.
Yeah, that's 2. 2 of the
Everyone
last
I got
4.
wrong, you got wrong. So
I
stop it.
just said that, Pete. I said how you asked how I had been doing. I said not good because I followed you.
2 of
Well,
the
you
last
go
4.
before me, so how could you follow me?
I'm not sure.
You're 500. You're both.
It's JP. You turn to him and get his pick, and then I give my pick. So I don't go before him.
This sounds good, Pete. Just go with it.
You're both 500 over the last month on Monday nights. See if you can get above it tonight. Pete Prisco down in South Florida. Happy Thanksgiving, bud. Have a good one.
Happy Thanksgiving, Petey.
Safe, JP. You have fun with the family, Tony.
Thank you, sir.
Pete Prisco, Tony Boselli. Our thanks to Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber. I'm J.P. Shadrick. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. It is Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.